sections today. We'll start with the broadcast, then we'll go to the Sunday newspapers, and then finish with the dailies. We're going to begin today's with Ian Bolton. Ian, Sky Sports News, if you can unmute yourself, and away you go.
Thomas, hello there. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. Hopefully you got back from Barnsley safe and sound. It's late now. Let's begin by checking on the team news for Monday. How do things stand with Thiago Silva, with Kai Havertz, with Timo Werner, and tell us about Andreas Christensen, who came off at half-time in Barnsley with a headache. Was that concussion related at all?
No. I don't think it was, no, what does it mean, don't think? No, it was not concussion related at all. Was like I said, it was a headache, so he was better, we took him off. For the other guys, I mean, it's Friday, we have still 3 training sessions. Should be absolutely okay for Timo Werner to come back. Is maybe too close for Kai still, and for sure for Thiago. For both of them, for Thiago, we are aiming for Southampton. We're trying hard. Let's see if we make it. I cannot promise. And for Kai, yeah, let's see if he's out today. I'm not sure. Will be a very short time for Kai, so maybe he will be missing. He will be missing this match as well.
But you didn't want to be too harsh on your players after the victory at Barnsley, but what do you need to see from your players against Newcastle? Do you need to be harsh on them?
No, not need to be harsh, not need to be too strict, but need to be clear. There are things that we can do much better than we did in Barnsley yesterday. We hardly managed to get into the opponent's box. It was very hard to escape the first pressing line, to overcome the first pressing line, to put the game into the opponent's half. So we struggled for 45 minutes in the first half. Second half was between 45-75 was our best period in the game, where we had full control, where we could score. But still, we and the last 15 minutes, where we could not escape our own half, and we had trouble to deal with the pressure and the physical style of Barnsley in the last minutes, gave us maybe a bit of an awkward feeling in the end, because we couldn't keep the control like we had it in the first half an hour of the second half. So will we tell them the truth? Yeah, this is what I said in the beginning. We will allow ourselves to be honest. If we don't like the performance, and if we can do things better, we will show, no matter what the result is. And the other way around, if we ever have a top game and we will not win, we will allow ourselves to show the good pictures. So there are things to do better. We will focus on the details, because in general I don't want to be too harsh, and I still stick to that plan, because we had difficult circumstances. We had 10 changes. The guy had a bit of lack of rhythm, a lack of confidence. The pitch was very hard to play, and the opponent played a very, very tough match. So we will focus on details, and we will help them to understand what we can do better. And then we will prepare the next 3 days, obviously, for the next match against Newcastle, which will be a hard challenge. And we need to be ready for that.
Last question, please, Ian.
But again, this week, we've seen online abuse directed at players. We spoke only a few days ago about the problems that Reece James has had. We've seen a referee targeted, and now the Newcastle manager, Steve Bruce, says that he has received threats as well. There are calls for social media companies to do more, but tell me, how does what's happening here compare with your experience in France and in Germany?
I would say I did not experience on social media, because maybe also because I'm not a social media guy. I have enough to do to control my smartphone, and this is by far enough for me. I can live days without my smartphone and don't miss a thing. So, but in general, I trained myself not to read about me. I trained myself. I had to learn it and trained myself not to read about me, not in good times and not in bad times, because what is out there has an effect on you, and you cannot stop it. You cannot not let it have an effect on you. If it's out there and everybody's talking highly about you, it triggers something in you. And if they speak, of course, bad about you, it sticks also with you, and it should not, because the target is to be self-confident in the best way and self-aware, and not in need for the admiration of external people, and this is kind of also a mechanism to protect myself. Like I said, I'm not a social media guy, so I'm more or less the guy who notices at last if something's going on in social media. This is what you're talking about, and the abuse is totally unacceptable, 100% clear. There's no other opinion here in the club, and of course not from me. And maybe, less words from me are more in this is unacceptable point, and we have to stand up against it. It's clear.
John Southall, BBC 5 Live.
Thomas, how are you?
Hi, fine.
Good. Has it been beneficial playing so many games in such a short space of time since you've arrived? You've been able to see quite a few of your players, or on the other side of it, hasn't given you the time that you possibly have wanted on the training pitch?
Yeah, every coach in the world maybe wants to have like 4 weeks with his new team to get known to the habits and the characters and the characteristics of the players. But we did not. Maybe the good thing is that we did not think about it, because there was no time to think about it. What would be better? It was just this situation in this moment to step in, yes or no. And then the first decision we had to make was like, do we take the possibility to do the training one day before Wolverhampton? And we said yes, we do this. When we are here, we do it. And from there, it was, like you said, beneficial that we had a lot of games, because in matches you get to know your team better. In matches, the boys can show their spirit of competition, and their spirit, their mentality, and you see pretty much everything. So what we're doing now is we're learning and trusting each other while we are playing in the hardest competition in Europe. Okay, this is what we do, and this is a good experience, because there is no other way in the moment. So there are also no doubts and no complaints about that, and that is that it can be also sometimes a bumpy road, like yesterday. Yes, it's clear nobody wants that. We want to have better performances, but in the end, the most important is in a cup game that you're in the next round. We managed to do that, and for that, not everything was bad. There's a lot of space to improve, and this is the good thing. Now we have 3 days to prepare the next match, and we will use them.
One more, please, John.
Yeah, is it a balancing act for you? Because obviously the players at this time probably need a fair bit of rest, but also you need to drill into them what you expect.
Yeah, it's always the balance in the moment, and this is what we think about most of the time when we're here in Cobham. So how many input do we get? How many do we put into the players? How many informations do we put? But in the end, less is more. It's a very old sentence, but it's like this: less is more, and there's a constant management for us to deal with the sessions, with the input, with the help, with the support. Or like just sometimes also leave them alone and let them process all the new the new movements or maybe the new approach or like even their performances and also the new approach from the new coach. This is pretty normal, and we try to adapt. We talk a lot, and it's a constant management, but it will never stop. It's also like this will be like this during the next months, that we always think about how much can we can we give the team, and what would be an overload.
James, Talk Sport Radio.
Thomas, we saw Callum Hudson-Odoi play at right wing back yesterday, and then he moved a little bit further forward on the left-hand side in the second half. Will it be players that are most willing to be tactically adaptable and flexible that will be most successful and get the most opportunities whilst you're here as manager?
I don't know. Maybe it is it an advantage or not? I don't know. If you have a specialist who can who is a 6, he will play the 6, and no need to push the 6 to play central defender or wing back. But if you have players like Callum and we have the opportunity to give also to ask different questions to the opponents and to the opponents' defenders, why not to use it? Like you said, Callum started on the right side and finished on the left side. So it gives us the possibility to react and to be flexible and to help the team in structure wise and information wise, and it's clearly not a disadvantage. But if we have the feeling that players like Oli Giroud is a number 9, we will not use him on the wing.
Last question, James.
And if I can ask you, last night was a great moment for the Chelsea Academy with Gilmour, James and Abraham combining for that goal. I know it's all about results, it's always going to be about results, but how important is it for the development of players and the pathway that's there from the Academy whilst you're here? Is that something that you're keen on focusing on and being aware of as well? Also,
I would love to, as maybe you know my last clubs, and it was always like this. The door was always open in my office for the coaches and the officials from the academy. I love to be to watch training and to watch in-house games on the other pitches of the academy. This is unfortunately not possible in the moment because we are in the bubble here and we have different zones where we cannot enter and leave the zones. So this is a bit more difficult than usual, but in my belief, like this is always the backbone of any club, and the more guys you have that can arrive in the first team, the better it is for the club, because it is something that the supporters love, and that these boys normally care absolutely about Chelsea because they live it from over years and years, and they live the spirit. So it was a good moment. And on the other hand, it is the most difficult. It is also the most difficult way that they chose to make it at Chelsea, to make it at Paris, to make it at Dortmund. It's like one of the toughest challenges you can have. Sometimes the way is not only straight up. It's sometimes bumpy. It's sometimes you go on loan. But I like that they accept the challenge to make it here, and I feel from the boys here that they absolutely want to make it as Chelsea players, not only Premier League players, but they want to be Chelsea players. And this is the spirit that we want to feel. And when we feel the spirit in combination, of course, with that talent, we will push them.
Olivia, PLP.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Can we just have a further update on Kai Havertz's injury that's kept him out of the squad the last couple of games? And he has struggled in England in his first season. What can you do as a manager? What can you say to him to ensure that we see the Bayer Leverkusen Kai Havertz do it in the Premier League?
I'm pretty sure we will see. It takes its time. There is no short answer. If there was a short answer, I would clearly go and talk to him in that way to bring out his full potential. But what we know and what we can rely on, that all this potential is in him, and is logic that is also in him to show it on the pitch. And for every transfer and for every change of the club, for every player is different. Sometimes it needs a little bit more time to adapt. Sometimes it gets quick. Sometimes it's between one match and another. Sometimes it's a process. All we can do is push him, support him, and give him what he needs. and we figure this out right now. He had a pretty good start with us. He had good matches, and I have the feeling that I see a guy who's totally clear, totally self-aware, very humble, and incredibly talented. So there are no doubts that he will show this. The sooner the better. Now, unfortunately, he missed some training sessions. He missed some games for us. Hopefully, he come back. He can come back in the next days, because I'm absolutely convinced he will have a big impact in this club.
Nick Pewell.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Just without Thiago, do the other defenders have to almost slightly mimic his role, or is that unfair because he's such a personality? And just also on the four guys you've got in the double six roles, will it be hard to keep all those guys happy? Because obviously 3 of those guys are very experienced, high quality players.
Yeah, and I think that to start with this question, I think 3 is by far not too much for 2 positions. Is it then hopefully come difficult decision, because that means that everybody is on board, everybody is available. If we have difficult decisions to make, then everything is good and we have the full squad available. And if we have difficult decisions to make, if I have difficult decisions to make, it's my job to manage them, and it's my job to trust also the guy from the bench. And is it possible to achieve our goals with 11, 12, 13 players? Is simply not possible. So to have the 3 guys is a big gift for me, for the 2 positions in the moment. To have a 4th guy like Billy Gilmore is absolutely necessary on this kind of level, what we expect from us and what the supporters and the club expect from the team. So we need exactly this kind of quality, and I'm not worried about the management, because I feel a group that is strong, that I feel the bond between the players. And yes, we have to prove it when things become a bit difficult, a bit complicated in management. Then we have to prove that we are a strong group. But until today, I feel a very good atmosphere, and it's my job to manage that and to focus on that, and to create it, that in a special atmosphere and with a special bond between the players, they can be still competitive with each other, but we need to be allies, and we need to be close, and we need to understand that this is a team effort of the whole team. And what was the first question?
Okay, we're going to stop there for the broadcast section because we've run over time. We're now going to go on to the Sunday newspapers.